If Charizard isn't the most iconic card in Pokemon card collecting, I don't know what is. Now, obviously, we could say Pikachu, but today we are going to be building a fire deck centered around Charizard. Now, Charizard is a really cool Pokemon. It's one of the most powerful Pokemon in the game. Now, obviously, what you could do is run 2 sets. That's right, 2 Charmanders, 2 Charmeleons, and of course 2 Charizards. If you are lucky enough to have them, that's probably the most consistent way you're going to be able to get a Charizard out. But, huge but there, many people do not have 2 sets of Charizard, and trying to get out a 3-stage evolution Pokemon can be really difficult. But let's talk about why we'd want to get it in anyway. First of all, it has 180 health, which is massive. It can have a single attack of 3 energy, which does 60 damage. But if you get 4 energy on this card, you can do 200 damage, and not a single card in the game currently can withstand that. This is an instant 1k hit on any card in the game, which, if you ask me, is pretty cool. However, I do think this card is paired better with another fire type. So what we're going to do, we're going to take out the other set, and we are only going to be running 1 set of Charizard. Now, this thing, I think, is the most underrated card in the game. It's certainly one of the most underrated fire cards in the game. I don't see nearly enough people running it. And in fact, you could run 2 of these in your deck and just have this as your main bad guy. No Charizard needed. It has 130 health and it has 130 attack. It is a 3 energy retreat though, so keep that in mind. However, it's not an EX, so if it gets destroyed, it only counts as 1 point. Now, Moltres, in my opinion, is a must. If you're going to be running a fire deck, if you're going to be doing either the Snake, or if you're going to be doing Charizard, you're going to need Moltres, because Inferno Dance allows you to flip a coin, and if you get heads, or for every heads you get out of 3 flips, you get to place an energy on a fire type Pokemon, which, I don't know about you, but I think's pretty awesome. Getting this in your first hand is what you want. Those first 5 cards you draw, you want a Moltres, which is why I play 2 of them, if you've got them, obviously, in your deck. If you don't have 2, then you're going to have to make do with 1. But I do think the Moltres is an absolute must for a Charizard deck, especially as it needs 4 energy. That's the same for the other Pokemon I've popped in as well. Now, Professor's research is going to enable you to filter through your deck quicker. Drawing 2 cards is really a cheap move. We definitely need that. And the same for the Pokeball. Being able to access both our Charmander and our Stage 1 Pokemon, really strong. But more importantly, Pokeballs also are going to be potentially drawing a Moltres. So if you don't get it in the first 5 cards, if you've got a Pokeball in your hand, there's a good chance you're going to be picking it up. Now, X speed is something you don't necessarily need in this deck. I'm going to be putting it in there because I do like having it in my decks. However, remember, these Pokemon have high energy costs for retreating. So when it comes to actually retreating your Pokemon, this could be traded out for anything else, depending on what you could be running. Maybe you're running a Magma. Magma could be a good add into this deck. Now, red card, I believe, is essential. It may not be essential, but it's certainly going to annoy your opponent, and that's why I run it. Now, potions I do think are essential. Being able to just withstand 1 more attack, maybe not so much with Charizard, but with Moltres, if you're trying to keep Moltres alive, so that way you can do 1 more spin, so useful. Again, with Sabrina, that is so useful, being able to deliberately swap out the active Pokemon your opponent has right now. Very, very powerful. And not only that, even if you do it on the first turn, you're going to be slowing them down, because, you know, they're going to have to spend an energy to replace the Pokemon they just popped in. So I really like Sabrina. Now, Giovanni, again, I am a huge fan of. Don't necessarily need it with Charizard, but you are going to need it if you're running that Fire Snake, because a lot of the bigger Pokemon are, say, 140 health. It does 130 damage. Giovanni brings that up to 140, meaning it kills Pokemon like the legendary birds. I believe all of the 3 legendary birds all have 140 in health. Now, we have 2 card slots left after we popped all that in, and if you're not running 2 double Charizards. Instead, we're going to be running double Snake, making it ridiculously consistent. But there we have it, guys. That is my deck build. That is my fire deck build. I believe it is very, very strong. Let me know down in the comments if you've got a better build. Until next time, happy gaming.